The Georgetown University campus hummed with the familiar energy of a high-stakes political event. It was a crisp, cool afternoon in April 2025, and the main auditorium was packed to capacity. Students, faculty, and media gathered for what had been promoted as a youthful leadership dialogue in global politics, a forum bringing together rising student leaders and influential global figures for a frank debate about the future of political power and responsibility. Among the participants sat Barron Trump, now 19 years old, a second-year international relations student, and son of former US President Donald Trump. Barron adjusted his bright red tie nervously. His tall frame, nearly 2 meters like his father, loomed over the polished wooden desk as he flipped through his neatly typed notes one last time. "This is my chance," he whispered to his roommate with a fierce gleam in his eyes. "I'm not just Donald Trump's son. I have my own ideas. I'm going to prove it today." Barron had volunteered eagerly to represent the conservative American viewpoint at the event, determined to make his mark beyond his family name. He carried a confidence born from years of privilege, a calm composure he had been honing carefully. What Barron did not know was that the event held a secret guest, Ibrahim Traoré, the 36-year-old president of Burkina Faso. Traoré had agreed to join the debate remotely via video conference, specifically after hearing a member of the Trump family would be present. This was no ordinary academic exercise for him. It was an opportunity to challenge not only a narrative but a legacy. The lights dimmed slightly as the moderator, Dr. Sarah Chen, a well-respected professor of political science, took the stage and addressed the audience. "Welcome, everyone. Today we are honored to host a dialogue on youth leadership and global responsibility. Representing Georgetown University is Barron Trump, and joining us via video from Ouagadougou is President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso." The giant screen behind Dr. Chen flickered to life, revealing President Traoré sitting confidently in his presidential office, the flag of Burkina Faso clearly visible behind him. His expression was calm but determined. "The floor is yours, Barron," Dr. Chen said, turning to the young man. Barron stood, his posture straight, his youthful arrogance apparent but polished. "Thank you, Professor Chen," he began, his voice steady. "I believe young leaders have a responsibility to question the established status quo, especially when that status quo fails to deliver meaningful results for people." He glanced briefly toward the screen, showing Traoré. "Too often, young leaders in developing countries make a lot of noise about change. But if we look closely, they're just younger versions of the same problems, recycling old mistakes and empty promises." The subtle provocation rippled through the auditorium like a shockwave. The crowd shifted in their seats, sensing the tension. On the screen, Ibrahim Traoré smiled, a slight, knowing smile that his communications chief, Major Darabo, immediately recognized as a warning sign. Dr. Chen quickly invited Traoré to respond. "President Traoré, would you care to share your perspective?" Traoré leaned forward, his voice measured and calm. "Thank you, Professor Chen. It's always interesting to hear the perspectives of privileged young people about leadership in developing nations." The word privileged echoed sharply across the room. Barron is right that young leaders must question the status quo, but the real question is, do they question it to make a difference in people's lives or merely to make noise? Barron's confident smile wavered slightly, but he maintained his composure. Traoré continued, "It's easy to criticize from afar, but I govern a country where there was, and still is, much room for improvement." At this, Barron bristled. "President Traoré, with all due respect, it's easy to talk about change when you govern a country struggling with so many problems." That was the moment Traoré decided to shift gears. "Trump," he said, fixing his gaze directly into the camera, as if piercing through the screen toward Barron himself. "You are absolutely right. The room quieted, all eyes on the screen. When I took office, Traoré explained, 47% of the population lived in extreme poverty. Today, that number is 23%, a 51% reduction in just 3 years. He paused, allowing the gravity of that achievement to settle. The literacy rate was 35%. It's now 67%. Access to clean drinking water rose from 42% to 78%, and GDP per capita increased by 39%. Barron sat stiffly, unable to hide his discomfort. Traoré pressed on. These results come from a devastated country, ravaged by decades of mismanagement and instability. So I ask you, Mr. Trump, what concrete results have you produced in your 19 years of life? Barron's smile faltered. I'm studying, he said. Studying is admirable. Traoré nodded. But you just criticized young leaders for making noise about change. What changes have you actually implemented? President, Barron attempted to recover. I'm preparing for a political career. Preparation is important. Traoré agreed. But perhaps you should study more before passing judgments on leaders who produce real results. The audience was captivated. Barron's veneer of confidence was cracking. Then Traoré reached into a folder on his desk and pulled out some papers. Since we are discussing questioning the status quo, let me share some specific examples. Barron's throat went dry. Traoré's expression shifted from diplomatic to serious. My intelligence services. Yes, African countries have competent intelligence too, have informed me of some recent activities involving you. Barron's face paled. Your attempts to establish political connections through Georgetown parties where illegal drugs were consumed, bought with your father's credit card. The auditorium gasped. Barron stammered, I don't know what you're talking about. Traoré's tone grew colder. I have photographs, Mr. Trump. The young man's legs trembled. Photographs of you at a party on March 23rd, using illegal substances while discussing how to leverage your family name for political internships. Barron's panic was obvious now, but that is not the most interesting part, Traoré said, opening another document. My intelligence also obtained audio recordings of you expressing deeply troubling views about people of African descent. The room fell deathly silent. Traoré continued, recordings where you use language that I cannot repeat here but reveal the kind of leader you really are. Barron was visibly shaking. Mr. Trump, would you like me to play one of these recordings for the auditorium to judge for themselves? No, you can't do that. Barron shouted, leaping from his chair. Why not? Traoré calmly asked. If you didn't say these things, there should be no problem hearing them. The audio played, unmistakably, Barron's voice. These Africans are all the same. They think they can compete with us, but deep down they know they are inferior. Dad was right. Gasps and murmurs filled the room. Turn it off, Barron yelled, running toward the speakers. Dr. Chen quickly paused the audio, trying to regain control. These recordings were legally obtained by international intelligence agencies concerned with future security threats, Traoré said quietly. Barron began pacing frantically. It's all lies, a setup. Lies, Traoré repeated with a sharp edge. We have detailed documentation. Barron's defenses collapsed further. I'm studying. I haven't done anything. You call these young leaders losers who don't deserve their positions, Traoré said. You bragged about using your family name to bypass real work. The humiliation deepened. The young man's voice cracked. It's not true. Someone's framing me. Actually, Mr. Trump, these recordings were made by people close to you, people you trusted. Barron looked around desperately, seeking an escape. Who? He whispered. Traoré smiled thinly. You'll find out soon. Traoré tapped his phone. Since you question their authenticity, how about a sample? No, please, Barron cried. The audio resumed. These Africans think they're primitive. They complain and beg for help, but they're not fit to compete. Several students stood, visibly disturbed. Barron lunged toward the soundboard. "Stop it. This is illegal," Dr. Chen intervened. "Barron, please calm down." "Illegal or not," Traoré said. "These recordings expose dangerous views." Barron's voice was now frantic. "You don't understand. My family." "I do," Traoré cut in. "Your family can do nothing against documented facts and legal evidence. We always get away with everything." Barron screamed, betraying a dangerous arrogance. The room fell into stunned silence. University security moved in. "Mr. Trump, you need help," the head of security said calmly. "Don't touch me," Barron shouted, struggling. "We know exactly who you are," the guard said, "and you need medical care." Paramedics arrived as Barron's meltdown worsened. "This won't end here," he shouted. "My father will destroy all of you," students whispered, some recording the meltdown. Barron's public collapse instantly became a global viral sensation, with millions sharing clips and reacting online. Backstage, Donald Trump received the grim news. Barron's meltdown at Georgetown, racist tapes, hospitalized. His chief advisor reported, "How did this happen? Who betrayed him?" Trump demanded furiously. "We're still investigating, but it was someone close, his roommate perhaps." Trump paced angrily as media coverage exploded. At Georgetown, the university announced Barron's indefinite suspension. Hate speech, threatening behavior, and violation of student conduct policies were cited. The betrayer was revealed. Eric Davidson, Barron's trusted roommate. "I recorded him because I feared where he was headed." Eric told reporters his racist comments and plans to abuse power were dangerous. Meanwhile, Ibrahim Traoré gave a follow-up BBC interview. "A 19-year-old planning a political career must be held accountable for his words and actions," he said. "Privilege does not shield dangerous ideologies." Barron Trump's political future was shattered before it began, crushed by his own words and the courageous stand of an African leader, unwilling to let prejudice go unchallenged.